Your car shakes at idle like it's having seizures. Even though you already cleaned the throttle body, you replaced the spark plugs. You even changed the oxygen sensor. But the problem keeps getting worse every single week. What if I told you there's a $10 component hidden in your engine that is systematically contaminating every sensor? In your intake system, turning your vehicle into a mechanical time bomb? Thousands of drivers spend hundreds of dollars replacing MAF, IAC, and MAP sensors, completely unaware that an invisible culprit is creating internal pressure and forcing oil vapor directly into places it should never reach. Every time you start the engine, that clogged component is silently destroying the very parts that control idle stability. And the worst part, 90% of mechanics never check it because they assume it's working fine. An unstable idle is not random. It's a symptom of massive chain contamination that begins in one very specific place. In the engine. In this video, you'll discover the 8 components almost nobody cleans correctly, all directly linked to this problem. But the number one component, the true origin of the entire disaster, and cheaper than a tank of gas, will only be revealed at the end. Number 8. IAC sensor. Idle air control valve. When an engine shakes excessively at idle, RPMs surge up and down, or the car mysteriously stalls at traffic lights. There's a tiny component almost nobody cleans that directly controls this critical function: the IAC sensor, or idle air control valve. Its job is to allow a precise amount of air to bypass the closed throttle plate, keeping the engine running smoothly when your foot is off the pedal. The engine computer constantly adjusts it to compensate for extra loads like air conditioning, power steering, or cold starts. But over time, something invisible happens. Oil vapors from the crankcase ventilation system, mixed with combustion residue and microscopic dust, slowly coat the IAC's cone and air passages. This buildup hardens into carbon deposits that act like cement, restricting movement and blocking calibrated air ports. The computer commands exact movements, but the valve can't respond properly. The result is a mismatch between incoming air and injected fuel. Symptoms are unmistakable: idle bouncing erratically between 600 and 100 rpm, engine stalling when braking hard, or shifting into reverse row cold starts during the first minute. Increased fuel consumption as the ECU enriches. The mixture to prevent stalling IAC is usually bolted to the throttle body or intake manifold and can be identified by its cylindrical shape. And for 2-5-wire connector. Proper cleaning requires removing it using throttle body cleaner only, never brake cleaner, gently scrubbing carbon deposits, reinstalling with a new gasket, and resetting ECU adaptations. But the IAC doesn't work alone. Number 7. TPS throttle position sensor. Mounted directly on the throttle shaft is the TPS, a precision angular sensor that converts every millimeter of pedal movement into voltage signals for fuel, ignition, and transmission control. It operates between about 0.5 volts at idle and 4.5 volts at wide open throttle. When contamination or wear affects its internal resistive tracks, the signal becomes erratic. Microscopic dirt, moisture, and oil vapors penetrate deteriorated seals, creating dead spots where voltage drops out momentarily. Symptoms include unstable idle due to incorrect closed throttle detection, hesitation at specific throttle position, check engine codes for TPS range or correlation. Rohr-7. Sealed TPS units depend on a clean throttle shaft and corrosion-free connectors. Carbon buildup around the throttle plate creates friction that distorts readings. Number 6. MAP sensor. Filled with soothe. MAP sensor literally breathes the same contaminated air as your engine. It measures intake manifold pressure so the ECU knows engine load in real time. The problem? It's directly exposed to oil vapors from the crankcase ventilation system. Over time, black sludge coats its sensitive diaphragm and clogs its tiny pressure ports. Eventually, the sensor becomes blind. Symptoms are severe: idle surging violently, as if the engine is convulsing, poor throttle response, fuel consumption increasing up to 30%, hard starting, or immediate stalling. Cleaning requires removing the sensor gently using electrical contact. cleaner, and cleaning the vacuum hose as well. Number 5. MAF sensor contaminated with dust. The MAF sensor uses platinum wires, thinner than a human hair, heated electrically and cooled by incoming air to calculate airflow with extreme precision. Dust, oil vapors from the PCV system, and microscopic particles coat these wires, insulating them and falsifying readings. The ECU then underfuels the engine, causing violent idle shaking. Key signs: idle improves when the MAF is unplugged with acceleration above fuel economy never. Touch the filaments, only use MAF-specific cleaner. Spray gently and allow to air dry. Number 4. Crankshaft position sensor. CKP covered in debris deep in the engine. The crankshaft position sensor reads the crank's exact position, so the ECU can time spark and injection oil leaks. Metallic particles, road grime, and carbon buildup coat the magnetic tip, weakening the signal. Symptoms include random misfires at idle, difficult starting, set installing, cleaning the magnetic tip, and verifying correct sensor gap restores signal integrity. Number 3. Carbonized throttle body. Over time, oil vapors and EGR gases coat the throttle body walls and throttle plate edges, reducing airflow area and creating turbulence. In high-mileage engines, airflow can be reduced by up to 20%. This causes unstable idleization on tip installing. When releasing the throttle, complete removal and thorough cleaning are essential. Number 2. Corroded IAC electrical connector shears. A mistake 95% of mechanics make. They replace or clean the IAC, but ignore the electrical connectors. Even slight corrosion adds resistance to low-voltage control signals, causing erratic actuator behavior. Symptoms are often intermittent and humidity-dependent. Cleaning pins with electrical contact cleaner and applying dielectric grease is critical. Number 1. Clogged PCV valve end. Now the real culprit. The PCV valve, a $10 part almost nobody suspects, is directly responsible for contaminating every sensor mentioned. Its job is to evacuate blow-by gases from the crankcase and maintain negative pressure. When it clogs with sludge, pressure builds inside the engine. That pressure forces oil vapor into the intake system, destroying sensors one by one. Symptoms include excessive oil consumption without visible leaks, worsening idle instability, oil leaks from seals, blue smoke under acceleration. Shake the PCV valve. If it doesn't rattle, replace it immediately, OEM only. Then clean every affected sensor, or the problem will return within 1,000 kilometers. And that's the brutal truth mechanics don't tell you. Your shaking idle isn't caused by expensive sensors, it's caused by a clogged $10 PCV valve, quietly poisoning your entire intake system. Replace it. Clean the sensors in order, and your engine will idle smoothly again, just like it did when it left the factory. So now ask yourself, what other cheap components are silently destroying your car right now? If this video saved you money, subscribe, because here we expose the automotive secrets nobody wants you to know. See you in the next one.